16 people have been injured in a missile attack in Tel Aviv. The Israeli military says its Iron Dome failed to intercept one projectile which was fired from Yemen. Richard Pater is director at the Britain-Israel Communications and Research Centre, BICOM, and is also an army veteran and has been talking to me about the effectiveness of the Israeli missile defence system.
Over the course of the last 14 months, when Israel has been attacked across half a dozen separate fronts, the Iron Dome and a variety of anti-missile defence system has coped remarkably well with a success rate of around 90%. But 90% obviously is not foolproof, and sadly last night one of these ballistic rockets fired by the terror group of the Houthis in Yemen managed to get through and hit a playground in Tel Aviv.
So what's the likely reaction from Israel going to be, do you think?
Well, we've seen just on Thursday night, this is the second time in 3 nights where the Houthis have attacked successfully and broke through Israel's defences. And following the last attack, the Israeli Air Force launched a series of raids against the infrastructure of terror targets inside Yemen. That's 2,000 kilometres away from Israel. It's quite possible that Israel will launch that again, although, again, judging they haven't said anything yet, and they're usually quite circumspect to announce these things in advance. But I think that could well likely be the next course of action again.
The headline figure that I gave there was 16 people being injured. You mentioned it landing at a playground. Do we know if these are families, these are children that have been injured?
No, thankfully it landed early in the morning, and so the playground itself was empty. The 16 injuries were a result of shrapnel and glass shattering in the buildings nearby. I did hear that one person has died of a heart attack as a result of the attack, but the other 16 injuries are considered relatively light.
So we talked about Israel's response, and just how about the fact that the Iron Dome has been breached? What will this do for the wider region? You know, we talked about the Israeli response. What about a more general call to action?
Well, I have to say, the fact that the Houthis are still firing after 14 months is one blot on Israel's copybook, because if you look around the region, Hamas, although Israel is still fighting Hamas in Gaza, they have been substantially weakened, as is the same with Hezbollah, which perhaps 14 months ago were the most formidable threat. The commonality, and the similar in Yemen and to a lesser extent in Iraq as well, the common theme that connects all these fronts is the Iranian threat. These are all proxies set up by Iran to deliberately surround Israel with a ring of fire. It was the doctrine of the late Qasem Soleimani that President Trump in his first term killed when he was visiting in Iraq. So this is an Iranian proxy, again, attacking Israel, and that's the real concern, that the Iranians should be very worried with the incoming return of President Trump and what he would potentially see as the regional picture for himself.
That's Richard Pater here on LBC News. LBC News Time 6:35.